Happy to be here. And my favorite subject in school was history because I'm a history nerd and like a research nerd.
Thanks, Cami. Caitlin?
Hi, I'm Caitlin Chagoya. I work with IHR, the Institute for Human Resources of Livingston County. My role is a substance prevention education specialist. So I go into fourth and fifth grade classrooms to try to prevent them from having to come here for treatment. So I like to think of it as my job is to try to put my coworkers out of a job. I'm not sure that they love that, but my favorite subject in school. I love foreign languages. I used to like tutor kids on the side, and I would tell them, like, I took Spanish, I got you covered. German, I can probably help you figure it out. French can help you figure it out. Math, I definitely have you covered. And some of the kids were like, Miss Caitlin, math is not a foreign language. I said, for some people, it very much is, my friends.
Thank you. David, how are you today? He's number one.
Okay, no, I had to. Hey, I'm Dave King. I'm the Community Outreach Manager for Carl Health. Um, I like school, so I liked a lot of different subjects, but I'll say philosophy. How's that in college?
That sounds great. Jeff, we're going to skip you and we'll let you just go through your introduction just a little bit later. How's that? Julie, how are you today?
Oops, hello there. I'm doing well. My name is Julie Pullman. I'm with the statewide ROSC. I do cover Region 4 as a TA, so Cami is my counterpart. I appreciate being on here and learning all the things you guys are doing. Favorite subject in school? That's a horrible one. I'd be better off telling you what I didn't like to do, but I'm going to say English, quite honestly. I mean, I did always enjoy English classes. I like the teachers and professors later, but that was a hard one. So thanks, John. Give me something to think about.
Yeah, you're welcome. Crystal, how are you today? Okay. How about Teresa?
Hi, I'm Teresa Deemer. I work at IHR with Caitlin, and I love that she tries to get us out of jobs and like tries to help all the people so we don't have to work as hard as we do. But I'm the director of special initiatives, and my favorite subject was also English. That's actually what my bachelor's is in.
Awesome. Thank you, Teresa. Sam, we're doing introductions, including your name, your organization affiliation, and what was your favorite subject in school?
All right, so my name is Sam. I'm with Chestnut Health Systems. I'm currently an intern for the Access Department. And my favorite subject in school, I think at the time, was art. I like my ceramics class that I took.
Awesome. That is fun.
Yeah.
Melissa?
Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm the community living advocate for Life Center for Independent Living. And my favorite school subject would have to probably be either history or art. I like learning about history and I really enjoy the art side of things.
Awesome. Thanks, Melissa. Caroline?
Hi, everybody. I'm Caroline from the Salvation Army. I have to say my favorite subject would have been English. I liked writing papers. I don't know. I really enjoyed writing back in the day, so that was probably why.
Thank you, Caroline. Crystal, we're doing introductions, organization affiliation, and what was your favorite subject in school?
All right. My name is Crystal Little, and I am the health educator, director of marketing at Livingston County Health Department. I would say that it was PE. I was a PE teacher, so PE was one of my faves, but I also did love art and then all of my science classes. I was a science nerd, kind of still am.
Awesome. Thank you, Crystal. I think that's everyone but myself and I'm John with Livingston County ROSC. My favorite subject has always been history. I guess like Cami said, just kind of a history geek. I remember dates and things like that that have to do with world history, but mostly U.S. history, and just really love the founding of this country and what it's taken to get where we are today. And I keep up on that with current events and just really, really enjoy it. Love knowing where we came from and where we're at today. So at this point, we'd like to introduce Jeff McFadden from Bridgeway. Jeff is in our Region 3 with his ROSC, and with no further announcement, this gentleman has a lot of knowledge. He has a lot of life experience, and he's going to share some of that, or maybe all of it, depending on how much time we have, with us today. So, Jeff, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, John. Hold on, let me pull up my stuff. Is it sharing my screen yet?
Not yet.
Can you tell me when it is?
Yes. I'm gonna remove you as a co-host and then add you again. It seems like it's glitching a bit.
Yeah, do that. I'm not very good at navigating that. So I'll just start verbally. My name's Jeff McFadden. Thank you, John, for the introduction. I guess for me, my school subject in high school would have been whatever subject I could skip without getting noticed as much. But in college, it would have probably been English 280. Okay, English 280 was hold on. We just did a bunch of this should do it, I would think.
Yep.
Is that sharing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So English 280, we just read some books and did some reports. I did remarkably well in it. I had a good friend who was a straight A student. I most certainly was not. But we both got A's, and I was real proud of myself because we had to read some pretty difficult literature. Okay, yeah, see, there I am, Jeff McFadden, System of Care Coordinator for Bridgeway's West Central Illinois ROSC. I just started this position back in January. I was formerly with and I'm still somewhat coordinating for the McDonough-Fulton County ROSC. So that's why I have this map here, so you can kind of see Region 3 here, we're in the blue, and everything that's basically to the west or to the left of Peoria are the counties that I cover. So my main focus now, with the help from my TA, Cammie Garrison, has been Henry, Knox, Warren, and Henderson County. I'm basically just trying to do what I can to keep the McDonough-Fulton County ROSC alive and going until they can hire a replacement for me. But Knox and Henry County are the biggest counties out of the four that I cover now. Knox has about 50,000 residents, with Galesburg, where I'm at, being the county seat and the most populated. There's 35,000 people here in Galesburg. It's where my main office is. Henry County has about 50,000 people. Warren County has about 17,000, and Henderson County has 7,000 people. We also here in Galesburg, we have Knox College, we have a community college. And then for the McDonough-Fulton County ROSC, that's Macomb, Illinois, is the county seat in McDonough, and they've got about 30,000 people, as does Fulton County. And the biggest city there is Canton, with approximately 15,000 people. This is my favorite graphic, really, because it breaks down the regions as far as ROSC goes. Region 1 being Cook County, Region 2 being the yellow, Region 3 being the blue, Region 4 being the purple below that, and so forth. 5 is down south in the green. And I like the graphic more because you guys those of you who are near or in Livingston County, just recently in the past couple months, I've helped a couple people who were housed in the Woodford County Jail. I've helped get them into some sober living in Champaign and the surrounding areas. So just because I cover a specific portion in Region 3, it doesn't end there for me. You know, I went down to Pike County to help people. I was at a recovery function a couple weeks back down by Franklin and Williamson County. So I do it all through the state, and I absolutely love it. My nephew is the main outreach worker for Oxford House for Champaign, Lincoln, Decatur, and Springfield. So I'm starting to collab with him and do some work. And in fact, he is the guy who helped me get the people who were housed in Woodford County Jail into the Oxford houses. So yeah, I keep this, the reason I show this is I keep it right here on my wall because I like to reference it. I'm getting to where the periods where I have to look over to it are getting fewer and fewer because I pretty much know the general layout of not only our region, but the other ones as well. There's just a cool picture of me when, and I'm still doing that. I'm still coordinating for the McDonough-Fulton County ROSC. And I keep suggesting people, I keep telling people to apply. And, I guess they're looking for the right fit. Fortunately for me, I was the right fit when I was hired there here almost 3 years ago. At the time, I'm a person in long-term recovery. So at the time when I was hired, I had, 2.5 years in recovery. And I guess, I was good at speaking in front of groups of people. I was good at promoting recovery and all that. And my friend Leanne, who some of us on this call know, Leanne told me to apply. And I got hired. And I've absolutely loved every second of it because we do so much. And, to a fault, really, because even when I clock out, even when I'm home and my daughters are being bad and my wife's in a less than favorable mood, we'll call it, I get calls and I always answer my phone, so I do this all the time, even when I'm not at work. In fact, before the meeting started, I looked down at my phone and I was getting a call from federal prison. So I took it real quick and I told him, yeah, call me back. I got your back, buddy. Talk later tomorrow. Because one thing I've learned is in recovery from substance use and with mental health challenges, I feel like everyone counts. I like the phrase everyone counts or no one counts. So I like to answer the phone. And to be honest, the guy is kind of an annoying guy, but he deserves his phone call answered too. Someone answered for me, someone answered for a lot of people. I don't really get to go down to McDonough-Fulton County so much anymore. Every other Thursday, I go to Fulton County Jail. I was just in Macomb the other night, but it's not like it used to be when I would be down there 4 or 5 days out of the week. Oh, this was one of the first things that, this is one of the first things we did when I joined West Central Illinois ROSC, when I agreed to coordinate for them. We had a ROSC awards dinner. And we just invited people who've been real essential to the ROSC, people who've helped give people rides to treatment, offered their time, energy, resources, and just volunteers. So we got them a nice little plaque and a small little trophy. I got a bunch of trophies at a trophy shop and just kind of appreciated everyone. It's very formal. We had Zach George with the Oxford House, my nephew, a couple other outreach workers, local probation officers, and just community members come out. I was fortunate that Leanne came back to help me host this because she had planned it. But then when she moved on to a different position, it became, quote unquote, my event to run. And it went really well. And this here, I'm real proud of this. I've been housed in Knox County Jail. I was housed there periodically from October 2010 to May 2019. So earlier this year, when the sheriff invited us in to take meetings into both the men and the women, it was definitely a very humbling and thrilling experience. So they gave us, we had to have IDs, and it's a very strict, it's a federal holding facility. So our sheriff's really strict and by the book, and it's cool to this badge. I don't have a badge for when I would go into Stark County Jail, which is just a little bit to the east of Henry County. You just kind of go in there. They don't really check your pockets or anything. And it's similar with Fulton County Jail as well. So it's just cool. Aside from what you see there, I'm not a counselor. That's just what they put on there. Like, I'm not a counselor. I just go in there with sometimes worksheets, sometimes my lived experience. Sometimes I say, hey, when's the last time you were happy? With the fellas in there. And they spelled my name wrong. They put an extra E in there where it doesn't belong. But, I'm just real proud of that. I like going in there every other Friday and doing what I can to help people. A lot of them have substance use challenges, but not all of them. So it is more of a peer recovery support meeting, and that can be substances or it can be mental health. So it's just really cool that, I had a 9-year stretch where I was in and out of jails. I would do 60 or 90 days, sometimes a week, a couple times it was just a notice to appear. And, I go in there as a professional to kind of help the guys. And I really enjoy it. Okay, this is a map of two of the things that I'm proud of that we're doing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with deflection, but it's a program to help get people the help and resources before they end up like me, before they end up in the criminal justice system, before they end up with a lengthy sheet and multiple felonies and whatnot. And this is just a map that shows the different deflections. I'm fortunate to be on the leadership team of 2 of these deflections. And these are the ones all the way over to the left. The orange is called Empower, and we just launched that on Tuesday, and that covers Henderson, Hancock, McDonough, Schuyler, Brown, and Adams County. So I have dealings with 2 of those counties. And then the other one that I'm helping on the leadership team is called WISE. Now, I don't like to brag, but I thought of the WI in WISE because they were calling it Western Illinois Deflection. And it became time to choose a name. And I said, well, it's got to start with WI because it's Western Illinois. So you can do wish, you can do wise, you can do wisdom. And they said, what do the other letters stand for? I said, I don't know. You guys figure that out. So that's kind of fun. And the deflection initiative is it's really good. It's going to help a lot of people. And as you see, there's some all over the place. You guys there, I think you could probably even join one if it were an option, because I know that's something we've explored about Fulton County joining the Empower with McDonough County. So I just wanted to show you the map, and it's just stuff that I'm proud that both ROSCs are doing. Oh, here's a cool slide. John and I's TA, Cami, is really wants us on numbers. So I really like the idea, and I'm not too good with keeping track of numbers, but some of the things I can keep track of are in the last 7 months, the doses of Narcan we've distributed, the people we've taken to treatment or detox, the 2 free Narcan vending machines in Galesburg, Knox County, The smart recovery meetings, they're still starting, but they've got a little bit of momentum and it's cool. And then the Narcan Saves Lives videos and event to come. I'll talk more about that in this slide. So in February, we met with the sheriff of Knox County and he said, hey, can you get me a Narcan vending machine? He said his colleague up in DuPage County is a sheriff and he put a Narcan vending machine in at the jail. I made a call to harm reduction specialist and community educator Sue Tisdale, and we got him a vending machine delivered immediately. This is my friend and colleague Amanda Gibson with the Knox County Housing Authority. She used to be a probation officer until about a year ago. She wanted to use her mental health skills for another issue to help different people, and she got hired with the Housing Authority. She asked, I called Sue and said, hey, could we get another one? Sue made the arrangements and we got another one. So I wanted to show you the original pictures on the right, and then this picture on the left is what I actually posted on Facebook. And in this, I mean, we had, it reached 30,000 people. It had, over 1,000 reactions, over 200 shares, and 95% of the comments were favorable. A few of the comments were not very many, but a few of them. So me, I'm a professional now, so I can't really get into fights online and I can't send people messages offering to fight. So I was like, how do we combat this? And I thought, what about Thank You Narcan or a Narcan Saves Lives campaign? So I said, hey, let's do that. I took it to people who get paid more than me and are much more creative. And I told them, hey, we should do a video and an event or something. And they ran some videos. One of them is available. You can watch it on YouTube at the Bridgeway YouTube site. And it shows good friends of mine, people who are in recovery. It shows Hannah, in her late 20s, pretty gal who's been saved by Narcan. She's got over 2 years in recovery. It shows Keith, a good friend of mine, who's got 3.5 years. It shows Lindsay, who just celebrated 2 years, and Dylan. And it's an awesome video if you can ever check that out. And then September 7th, we're having the event to accompany it here in Galesburg. Recently, we were at the Jolt Harm Reduction in Peoria, had their Recovery Fest. And who is that good-looking guy right there? He looks familiar. That is me. And I think that the woman I'm pictured with, I don't know who that is. Oh, no, that's my wife. I know exactly who that is. So I've been fortunate enough that my wife goes to some of these health fairs and resource fairs with me. That's just something that's one of the few things we've done this year as far as in-person events. And Jolt Harm Reduction does some really good work over there in Peoria. And look at that. They have offered some guest star to come deliver some of his, I don't know if you call it comedy or strikingly strange observations to Peoria. So it's a really cool thing, the Recovery Cafe that they have at Jolt Harm Reduction. And I show you this not to say, hey, look at me or come watch me, but it's at their Recovery Cafe. So like what John and I do and a lot of other people in this industry is you start out with a ROSC, and then the goal is to have an RCO, a recovery community organization, and then a recovery cafe, which is a safe place for people in recovery or people in the community to come hang out and not have to worry about drugs, alcohol, or the criminal element or anything like that. In Jolt's Recovery Cafe, I've been fortunate enough, that's where this resource fair was at. They had Central Illinois Friends, they had Oxford House, they had Gateway from Springfield, they had the area of Narcotics Anonymous. They had a lot of good resources there. People spoke. It was a fun time. When I went and visited this, Chris Schaffner, the executive director, said, well, we also cater to the unhoused. So one thing we're doing in this recovery cafe is we're putting in a set of washer and dryers, two of them, and then we're putting in a set of showers so that if people are unhoused and they come there, they can not only do laundry, but they can take a shower if that's not available to them. And I thought that was really cool. I thought that's really cool because what good is having clean clothes if you're not showered? Or what good is taking a shower if you don't have clean clothes? Yeah, I just thought that was awesome. And if you want to go to that, go. It's not mandatory. Okay. Exciting news this past week. As we've known for a few months now, the National Rally for Recovery is taking place in Chicago, Illinois, on September 21st. And as you see here, wow, looks cool. Any details you would like to add about this event, Jeff? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, yeah. Earlier this week, I was asked by Dr. Mary Roberson, who's in charge of the committee and on the committee of this event, if I would be the master of ceremonies for it, and in between introducing people, do some of my comedy. And I happily accepted. And I'm real excited about this. I was planning on going to it anyways. But Mary called me up, and it was like the coolest thing in the world to have someone I look up to call me and ask me if I would help host this event. Dr. Mary's awesome. And just like Julie Pullman, Cammie Garrison, and John Schneider, someone I look up to a great deal. So there's the info for that. And I'm happy, thrilled, excited, honored, flattered, and scared to death to do this, but looking forward to it. And here I have this in my office. It's right over there near that heart. It's just a little plaque I got at a recovery convention, and it is the motto for the West Central Illinois ROSC to remind people to recover out loud. So what that means to me is, 5.5 years ago, I was in Knox County Jail. 5.5 years ago, I was using needles. I didn't know there was a way out. I didn't know that people could recover. And if they could, I didn't know that they would lead extremely fun lives and have a life worth living and get their family and do all this cool stuff that I get to do today. So it's important for me to recover out loud, and I try to share it with people whenever possible. And I like that slogan for the West Central Illinois ROSC. The recovery, the McDonough-Fulton County ROSC was initially, it was recovery is possible. And I like that in the beginning, but more so now I feel it needs to be changed to recovery is probable, because possible sounds like there's a chance, but not that much. Probable is like, yeah, probably. If you want to change, you surrender, you do whatever it takes to improve and keep persevering, you probably will succeed. So, and I wanted to show you guys that because it's just the motto, and I keep that here in my office. And there's my stuff. You can, you guys are real fortunate if you're on this ROSC. You have John Schneider as your coordinator, so you're extremely fortunate to have someone that I admire and look up to a great deal. But there's my information. Like I said, I get calls from people all over the state and sometimes in different states. And they say, oh, well, no, when I get out of treatment, I'll be going to Madison County, and then I look at my map and I see, oh, that's Region 5. And off the top of my head, I know, Chris Dennis or Katie Unthank, and I can set them up with a Jeff McFadden or a John Schneider. And that happens all over the place. And even if there's not a ROSC coordinator, I usually know someone who's, they call them persons with lived experience, but a person in recovery in that area. So I mean, I get calls and emails from anyone all the time. I do it all. We do prevention talks at high school. That's my favorite thing to do because I like to I have all my 18 of my mug shots in color, and I take them and I like to show it to kids and in a polite, responsible way, scare them, and say, trust me, you don't want to end up like me. But yeah, that's it. If you want to take a picture or take my information down for anything, it's good to have if you know anyone. This whole network of being able to get people into detox treatment and sober living afterwards is it's a blessing to be able to do that because you know it's necessary. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for putting up with me, listening to me. I know I have a weird voice, but I thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Very informative for all of the kind things you said about myself and others on the screen. The check is in the mail. Does anyone have any questions for Jeff?
Ask one or two, or I'll call on you at random.
I have a couple. I mean, one of the things I have is just about that recovery rally. Are we going to get a copy of these slides, John?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I tried to take a picture of the QR code, and of course, it doesn't work too well. There are a lot of things you talked about, Jeff, all great. I'm also a person in long-term recovery, but part of what we do, part of what you're doing is kind of what I'm going to say is non-traditional. I'll put it that way. And so I'd love to hear your experience, the thing about recovering out loud, right? So, obviously there are a number of other support groups that are focused more on the anonymity, on the anonymous portion, attraction versus promotion and all of that. And so, same with MAT, and trying to promote those things. So I'm just curious in your experience, um, how you bridge that gap between, kind of like the traditional recovery approach and some of the things that you're able to do, now.
Great question, David. And I'll tell you, it's interesting that that's your question because I used to be a very traditional person. In fact, in a couple of those 12-step groups, I have the reading that is before the traditions and after memorized. I can spit them off like that. It's like a curse. So, and I used to be like that. And I've moved away from that because it's not right. So one thing I do is I just want people to reach their maximum potential. Okay. I want them to be happy. So as to where for my first 2 or 3 years, I worked a recovery program to where I was completely abstinent. I still am, but that's kind of what I said. I was like, you have to be abstinent like me. And that's certainly not the case. So what I do is I want people I keep an open mind and I try to encourage that among others, to keep an open mind. And it's kind of difficult. I'll tell you the example. Last year in September, Leanne, who had this position before me, she had all of us come in during September for recovery month. There's like 20 or 30 of us. We came in and we took a picture holding up this sign, and it said recovering out loud since, and then it had our recovery date. And it was like clockwork. It was like boom, boom. My wife was on there. I was on there. Leanne, Michelle, Dee, Pat. I mean, the list goes on and on. And then it got to this guy I know of, but I don't know him well. And he said, meth free since, in the old traditional version of Jeff was highly offended. I've had to like make an amend to myself, sort of, because I was like, and then since I've seen the guy with his small children, and I wish I was as good a dad as this guy, you know. So I was like, who am I? Who am I? Because whatever he's doing is working. He's taking care of his kids. He's, reaching his maximum potential. Obviously, it was kind of a sign at the time to where it's like, oh yeah, so this guy smokes weed, and I had to think, who am I? I'm no one special just because my path is a little bit different. So I keep myself an extremely open mind. I have numerous friends who are MAT, MAR, and thank I'm so grateful they have something like that, because I remember how they looked in the life they lived when they were using. And when I do Narcan trainings and whatever, and people are like, hey, they automatically think that people with substance use are street dwellers, gutter snot, all this stuff. And I tell them this, I say, picture the person as a small child. Okay. Picture the person when they were 6, when they were 7, even up till 10, you know. I think of, my wife. She was the cutest little girl ever. She didn't raise her hand when at school they asked her, what do you want to be when you grow up? She didn't say drug addict. She didn't do that. I didn't do it. Up until I was probably a teenager, it was baseball player, professional golfer, fireman. So I encourage people to imagine that person that you're frustrated with, that person who just can't get it. Oh, so and so's in jail again. Picture them as a kid, and it seems to help. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, okay, and kind of get it when I've suggested picture them as a little kid. I mean, I have a 5-year-old daughter right now, and I mean, I try to imagine, we'll get there, but I'm like, man, she's so funny and cute and annoying. She's a 5-year-old girl, but I try to think, man, she could end up just like me or my wife did. Tommy, oh, when's he gonna get it? Man, he's in jail again. Oh, he got a new Facebook. Oh, he's not even using his real name. Yeah, he's had 2 years in recovery before. I just try to humanize the people. And the best way to do that, I'm serious, has been to picture them as a child. I don't know anyone who asked to be like this,
Right.
when they're suffering.
Right. And I guess part of the basis for my question is that there's another ROSC, a fledgling ROSC that, work with in the eastern part of the state. And there are people with lived experience, recovering folks that come from a real traditional background that attend that ROSC, and they're rather vocal and adamant, that, like MAT is just drug substitution. So, part of it is, we accept everyone where they're at, right? Even the folks that are in traditional recovery and abstinent only, because that is what's worked for them. But I just was curious about, those of us who've started in that or on that path. That's where our starting point was. We may be at a different point now, but we still encounter people, and we want them to be involved in our ROSCs and other initiatives, and yet they have a much narrower perspective on what recovery would look like, and how do we engage them. So I appreciate your sharing.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a quick follow-up, David, is when I was talking with Chris Schaffner of Joel, we were talking about who needs to be at the table and everything. I'm still learning, as I'm sure a lot of people are still learning. Chris said, oh, this is all great. All these people, yes, should be at the table. And he said this, what about the people who are still using? And that blew my mind, because they're people too. In fact, I just had a call an hour or two ago with someone who's, I don't even know what it was. We were on Zoom, and that's exactly what I said. Because again, everyone counts or no one counts. people with lived experience, PLE, they say that they have a voice. Everyone should have a voice. Everyone, has a voice, and that's up to and including people who are still using or not ready to change their life for the better, or whatever the polite phrase would be. Yeah.
All right. Great question, Dave. Thank you so much, Jeff. We're going to have to move on a little bit here. We got about 15, 16 minutes. So what's happening? Upcoming ROSC events. So starting next week, Monday, back to school drive-through event hosted by Livingston County Health. Crystal's on. I'm sure she will expound a little bit on that. Next Tuesday in Dwight, National Night Out. It's a great event that the ROSC and about every agency at this table will be at next Tuesday, 5 to 8 p.m. in downtown Dwight for National Night Out. Dwight hosted and sponsored by the Dwight Police Department. Next Saturday, August 10th, duck race and back to school event by Boys and Girls Club of Livingston County in Humiston Park. In Pontiac at Humiston Park from 2 to 11, or from 11 to 2, not 2 to 11. Flanagan Fest is coming up, and ROSC will be there with a couple different tables for Educating for Change and the Recovery in Action. Portions of our subcommittees of our ROSC will be there Saturday the 17th in Flanagan. August 28th is our next subcommittee meetings. And then Harvest Days, September Recovery Month. Harvest Days in Dwight from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday. Harvest Days is actually 4 days. ROSC will be representing there with 2 tables just for the Saturday, though. And again, Educating for Change and the Recovery in Action committees will be there serving that. And our Recovery Month event this year will be on Saturday, September 28th. We had to change that date. I think everyone on the council has been notified of that. Saturday, September 28th at the Pontiac Rec Center. That will be from 11 to 2. There will be plenty of activities. There will be basketball, putt-putt, food, live entertainment, and 2 rooms full of resource tables from individuals throughout Livingston County and beyond. So if you would like to participate in that and you're not already signed up, let us know, and we will make sure that there is a spot reserved for you with that. And Autumn is going to talk a little bit more. Dave, you asked about the recovery rally, and Autumn is going to give us a little more information about that.
Yes. Well, Jeff, you started by introducing it, so thank you very much. Saturday, September 21st, they will be hosting a rally for recovery in the city of Chicago. So this is a great event to attend, something worth making maybe a weekend trip out of. I will be sending this flyer with the information so people know the details. It'll be 9 to 4 p.m. September 21st. And so definitely an encouragement for you to go either as just an individual or representing your organization. And again, the details with all the events that John listed and this one as well will be sent out with the meeting minutes next week. And so you'll have those as well. And then I will segue into, well, John, do we want to do any agency updates before we wrap up?
I think we should offer that, yes.
Okay, we'll pause here. We'll finish up with some agency updates and then wrap up the meeting.
Well, if I could jump in, just to let everyone know that I think it was 2 weeks ago today, we actually received our delivery of our mobile unit. So our harm reduction mobile unit is, parked in a garage in a building in Danville. And so it's at this point on site, and we continue to kind of get things. We're doing basically a soft opening, so to speak, of we had an open house on Tuesday in Champaign just for staff and things. But just I know it doesn't serve Livingston County. It's the funding doesn't allow it to go outside of Vermilion County for this particular grant, but it's taken 3 years. So it's here, and first time I've ever driven a Mercedes. It's a Mercedes Sprinter van. So anyway, but it's still a Mercedes. Um, and just to let you know that that'll be out and about throughout Vermilion County at different events and things. So
Thank you, Dave. Great information.
I'll go ahead and hop on. First of all, I loved this. I think the outreach in new, inventive ways, I think that is amazing. I think what you are all doing is amazing. I don't think Frankie Ward from Ford County is on today, but I noticed there's a concert going on in Gibson City, and I know that the Ford County ROSC will have a sober sips place there. I thought that was so important and just moving forward so much, forward thinking, and I love that. As far as Livingston County Health Department goes, we do have our back to school event on Monday. There are 100 bags of back to school, and when I say bags, I mean they are full with supplies for kids. Super excited. I know that the one that was out at Authentic Church, they actually ran out of supplies. We've been having people call, so I'm excited to see what that attendance looks like on Monday. We have about 8 partners coming out and distributing materials and things. We're offering immunizations. I'll do a local alert here before long just to make sure that families know it is not limited to, it is for all of Livingston County. So if you have a family say, well, do I qualify? There is no qualification. There is no card. We are just trying to get all of our kids, all of our students with the things that they need to get started off right for the school year. And we do still have about 2 weeks left on our iPlan survey. But I have to say we hit our mark. Woohoo! That was great and exciting. But we still want as much information collected from all of those populations as possible, because it just becomes more accurate the more results that we receive. So
Thank you, Crystal. Caitlin?
I'll try to fill in with what I know. As a follow-up to what Crystal said with the backpack event, I did help with Authentic's backpack giveaway. They had 400 backpacks. The event itself was 3 hours long, and they were out of backpacks in the first hour and 10 minutes. So there is definitely an enormous need for people to have school supplies donated to them. Tons and tons of people who were extremely thankful, even the ones who got turned away or didn't receive the backpacks, because we didn't turn anybody away. But even the people who didn't receive backpacks were still thankful. They were still able to let their kids go play in bounce houses and get a free meal. And we had a couple families approach us about food pantry needs and things like that. So we were able to meet a lot of needs with that. That has nothing to do with my agency. That was more just me personally feeding off of or piggybacking off of what Crystal had said. In terms of what IHR is doing every year, they attempt to do something for Recovery Month within our substance use treatment groups for adults. So we don't have a specific week narrowed down that I'm aware of, at least as of Tuesday, which was only 2 days ago. We didn't have a specific week. But some of the fun things that they're planning are trying to do some like sober leisure activities, trying to help people figure out what that looks like. So one of the group leaders is going to bring in some sort of like murder mystery puzzle in a box type thing for them to try to tie in something like that, to use their brains for something productive and to try to take their minds off of potential thoughts of use or triggers or things like that, as a way to kind of divert those things. Some people are choosing to bring in speakers. Some people are choosing to do like movies. It kind of depends upon the theme of the group. But I was having a little side conversation with Teresa, and we both agreed that we very much love the humor and the perspective that Jeff was bringing. So we will be reaching out to him as a potential speaker, just to see if we have any maybe previews of some of the material that he does, and see if it would fit well into one of our groups, if he's available for that, whatever. So thank you for providing the space for Jeff to be here and speak. And then for me personally, starting back to school. So my job is prevention education. Myself and Kay Gray is our middle school prevention educator. So we are getting underway trying to get a schedule set up with the schools so that way we can work on the prevention side of things and also kind of helping out or that partners with our educating for change. Just being able to help even students, younger students, understand like there is people feel a certain type of negativity even with words like alcoholic, which we used to use before. And some kids will throw those words around. And so we try very, very hard when we're in there to say people who have a diagnosis of an issue with alcohol or something like that. So we're even trying to start at that young age, making sure that the verbiage that we use, even with the students, is not harmful to them in the way that they view people in their lives who maybe are using. So that's kind of how we're partnering with the ROSC in that.
Thanks, Caitlin. Who would like to go next? The agency updates.
I can go.
Awesome.
On Monday, August 5th from 2 to 4 at the Senior Center, which is where Lifestill is located, we are having a low vision open house for people 55 and older. If they have like macular degeneration, glaucoma, those sort of things, they may qualify for some free items that could assist them, like magnifiers or talking clocks, talking watches. So if you guys know anyone that would benefit from that, please send them our way.
We will do that. Thank you.
John, I just have to give a plug for Caroline. I think she's on here. I was saying we because I'm picturing us carrying stuff in yesterday, but Tina and Caroline, they have been rock stars on this with Salvation Army, just really providing for our kids. I just wanted to make sure I gave credit where credit was due. When I said we, like I was just picturing like the whole thing, but they have been rock stars in coming through with those supplies. So
I heard that yesterday. So that's great. And they are rock stars when they set their hands and feet to something, they get it done. But that goes to be said for everyone on this screen and all of the extended ROSC council throughout the county. So this is your council and you all do an amazing job. Does anyone else have anything for updates? Couple things, Dave, if you could send me information on dates that you have coming out for anything that you're doing with your mobile unit. I would just like to have that in hand to be able to share in Ford and Livingston County. So I'd appreciate that if you have anything coming up. Jeff, my goodness, you're the guy. Thank you so much for your willingness to share your knowledge. Don't know about making it to your next show, but I'll work on that. So thank you very much. And if nothing else, Autumn will be closing us out today.
Thanks for having me. Good meeting. Good to see everyone.
So before we head out, a couple things I want to hit on. So our next meeting is going to be Thursday, September 5th. That will be taking place online via Zoom, as usual, same meeting, same Zoom link. And if by any chance people know someone who wants to be joining the council who doesn't have the meeting invite or doesn't have that, feel free to email me or Jeff and we can get them that information too. We don't want there to be any people who want to be a part of this movement who can't be on the meetings. And then, John, do you want to quickly speak to this real quick? This is an exciting update that we don't want to lose sight on.
Absolutely. After our hybrid meeting last month, there was so much positive input from the people on the Zoom and the people in person about doing live in-person meetings. So we're going to start doing that quarterly. So our next in-person meeting will be in October, followed by January, April, and July of 2025. So we are looking for venues. If we could use where we were last month, that's great. But we're looking through venues. I'd like to move it around a little bit in Livingston County, if at all possible. But the positive feedback we had from people in one room having open discussions was amazing. So we have decided to go ahead and open that up 4 times a year. Dates will always be the first Thursday, but times may vary. So depending on venue. So if you have any suggestions, if you want to offer a venue, if you have anything any input, please let Autumn or myself know, or both of us, and we will take that all into consideration. And the meeting went very well last month, and thank you all who came in person and joined via Zoom, because it was, I think, the best meeting we've had in 3 years. So thanks for that.
Perfect. A couple more things to wrap up. So we want to be encouraging people in the community, people on the council to continue to educate themselves. And there's a lot of really good free webinars and trainings that are available. The first one is from Chestnut Health System Center for Community Engagement, which you might have heard some people speak about that if you've been on the council for a bit. They offer learning collaboratives, so free 1 to 2 hour webinars. And you can go to their website, coalitionsupport.org/trainings, and you can register. They have 2 that are coming up. They have one that's stigma, substance use, and mental health, the impact of youth, which is on Wednesday, August 14th from 12 to 1. And then in September, they'll have one on engaging community members to support prevention and recovery. So these are both trainings that are free and available to people that we'd encourage the council to join if they can. Faces and Voices of Recovery is another great organization that offers continuing education and webinars and trainings. So they'll have one that just goes over what a recovery-oriented system of care is. And so this is great for people who may be a part of the council, but your work might be a little bit different day to day, to just understand what's the mission, what's the purpose of the ROSC. And with the meeting minutes, again, I will send out links to the websites if people want to register. And so we're going to keep promoting just upcoming opportunities and encourage people to join when their schedule allows. And so we want to thank you for joining today. It was a wonderful meeting. And before we go, if you don't, we encourage you to follow us on social media. We're going to be continuing to try and promote the events that we will be a part of, as well as the events that you guys will be putting on in Livingston County. And so our goal is to have those more active. It's another source where people can stay up to date on information and share the amazing work that's going on in Livingston County. And then last but not least, our contact information for John, Carrie, myself, and the Livingston County ROSC. If you have any questions, feel free to email us, contact us, and yeah, we are always here and available.
Thank you, Autumn, and thank you everyone else for joining today. We'll stay in contact. Any questions anytime.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You as well.